Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomizer. Got a video here, a short one, where we're going to do some decoding multi-syllabic words. We're going to read some big words, all right? And I've got only one round for you here. So what I want you to do is read this word I'm about to show you right out loud. Are you ready? Read it right out loud. Here you go. All right, got it? Okay, read this word. And this word. Okay, these words are really similar. The first word is desperate. Second word, depressed. And the last word is disappeared. Now, these words are here together because I have a feeling some of you, when you went to read the top word, desperate, you may have said depressed or disappeared instead. And there's a reason why that might happen. We're going to explore how similar these words are, and it'll help you read them better, but it'll also help you spell better in case you read all three of these correctly, which is awesome. So what we're going to do first is we're going to compare desperate with depressed. I know, depressed, right? Who needs to talk about that? Both of these words start the same, so I want to look at the middle of the word, excuse me. SPR is in desperate. Then down below in depressed is PRS. So that's the first thing. If you're in a hurry and you're trying to read the word desperate, your brain might see the SPR and mix it up and change the order. So PRS and depressed, there's kind of a difference. Right in the middle is an E. And up top, that ER, that's an R-controlled sound. So you can see the syllable spur. The E down below comes after the R, and you can see the word press. Now, putting those aside, the end of these words, there's a T and a D. Now, I colored them green because if you listen to the word depressed, it makes a T. That D makes a T, and sometimes when you add an ED to a root word, it sounds like a T. So that's just one more reason why you may have gotten these words mixed up. Plus, that T is surrounded by an A and E. There's a syllable. It looks like the word ate at the end. And we're going to talk about that ending in just a moment. But down below, there's an ED ending, all right, the suffix ED, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. Look at this for just a minute here. These are the syllables, right? And the red is the stressed syllable. When you read desperate, you say desperate. You stress that first syllable. But depressed, you stress the second syllable. And so another difference is it's a 3-syllable word up top. Depressed is a 2-syllable word. And you can see the E, I kind of made that E go away because PRESS plus the ED, it makes 1 syllable, pressed. Now, we're going to look at the roots of these words. Desperate is a word all by itself. Desperate comes from that Latin language from so long ago. And more recently, it's similar to the word we use in English, despair, like, oh, somebody help me, like to be in despair. So there's desperate. Look down below, depressed. That is a Latin word also. And then it became a French word. The French language adapted depress. So that's where we got it in English, from the French language, depress. And it's an action word. It's a verb. So we add an ED to the end and we get the past tense verb, depressed. And it also is an adjective, if you think about it. It's how you can feel. Hopefully you don't feel that way, of course. Now, we're going to compare desperate with disappeared. Take a look at this. The words start pretty much the same, DES, DIS, just a little bit of difference. But I want you to look at the PRT in desperate. There's a P and an R and a D in disappeared. Kind of, the same as before. But there's an A in these words too, and the A comes between the R and the T. But look in disappear, that A jumps all the way back before the P. So if you're reading desperate quickly and if you happen to say disappeared, your brain took that A and you put it before the P. And that's very common behavior. Also, right in the middle is the ER, the R-controlled sound. You can see per. But down below, that R-controlled sound becomes ear. You can see ear. So there's a little difference, versus ear. Now we're going to look at the root words of these, and desperate, like we already talked about, is a root all by itself. It's a variation of despair. But appear is the root word of disappeared. And we all know what appear means. It's a verb. And if we put the prefix dis before it, it's the opposite of appear. And for some reason, I'm thinking of magic, right? So we take disappear, we add an ed, and we got the past tense verb, disappeared. A quick look at the syllables. Again, in red is the stressed syllable, desperate. I took the E out of desperate because that silent E usually makes a long vowel sound. But when you say desperate, you kind of hear an I, don't you? A short I sound, and I'm touching my in with the letter I. Desperate, it. But it's an A, and you have to know about the French and the Latin to remember that there's a silent E at the end. So that's a little spelling advice for you. Down below, disappeared is another 3-syllable word. And I took the P out. But there is a double P, and that's going to keep, that double P is going to make a short vowel sound. That's not an A sound, is it? This is sign language U. That's a short U sound. What's a short U sound? That's a short U sound. And it's something you need to remember about words that start with A. A lot of times it sounds like a U. But it is a short sound because of the double P there. And let's see, that's going to do it for comparison with these 3 words. What I'd like you to do now is hit pause, and I want you to read this passage, and that's going to wrap things up for us today. I'll see you next time on the Fluency Awesomizer.